Do you know there are some people out there who don't believe in things that they cannot see? I'm sure you've heard somebody say to you before, if I can't see it, I don't believe it. But isn't that interesting? Some people don't believe in what they cannot see, but aren't all beliefs invisible? I want you to think about that for a moment. Have you ever seen one of your beliefs walking around in front of you in real life with tiny little legs and tiny little arms? Of course not. It's kind of funny when you think about it. But I don't want you to think about it too hard because it might make you go cross-eyed trying to figure out how it's impossible for someone to truly hold a belief about not believing in things that they cannot see if they cannot see the belief that's holding it in place. So what are beliefs then? Well, my name is Jeremiah Rangel, and I'm a neurolinguistic psychology teacher, which are really fancy words for I know how the inner workings of your mind works, and more importantly, I know how to change those pesky beliefs that are causing limitations in your life. In this video that you're about to watch, I will explain what are beliefs, where do they come from, how do they get created, and how to change the ones that are no longer working for you and that are limiting your full human potential. I think you'll find the information that I'm going to share with you pretty inspiring to help you open up your mind to greater possibilities about your abilities and capabilities, now and in the future. Enjoy. I'm Jeremiah Rangel, and for a lot of people in the world, the winter is coming, and that means a lot of different things. A lot of people will go inside and kind of do a little hibernation, especially here in Minnesota. But there is outdoor sports, and I grew up playing hockey for 21 years, so, and just possibly how I'm built and my chemistry is I love cold. I'd rather have it more cold than more hot. I'd rather live in Minnesota than Arizona, but that's just me. But that being said, I still need a structure and a strategy to be able to work out because I don't play hockey anymore. I don't really go to the rinks like I used to be or just go outside. So as winter is coming, I need to have a structure, strategy, and plan. And I do this not only with my clients that I do personal training, but also coaching or business coaching. And it really doesn't matter if it's winter coming up. It doesn't matter if there's a wedding coming up, if it's spring and the summer's coming, it's beach season. No matter what a big event comes up, you need a structure, a strategy, and a plan for it. And there's these things called beliefs. Our internal beliefs, which are invisible, seem to dictate and run our lives and really predict our outcomes. And beliefs can be either a positive thing that really opens up and really helps us accelerate towards what we want, or it can be a limiting, blocking thing that prevents us from, it closes our mind and really closes down a lot of possibilities that we have in life. So beliefs are the really key points. And what I want to ask you is, if you had a choice, if you could learn a set of tools and techniques and strategies to be able to look at all the beliefs in whatever aspects in your mind and switch a negative into a positive, would you do that? Would that be valuable to you? And also the second thing is, if you can look at any aspect of life, your health, finances, religious, spirituality, your relationships, and if you could upgrade or open up your life or your mind through your beliefs, and which actually give you different results, and would that be really beneficial? And most people would say yeah. And then what about if you just have control of your mind, to understand how your mind works, and more importantly, how you got to where you got to, how you got programmed and how we operate and we have our beliefs the way we are. If you were to be able to learn that and be able to upgrade and change not only yourself but other people around you, that would be pretty valuable, would it not? So the information today during this seminar about 5 different ways to stay mentally and physically fit through the winter through our belief systems and through structures and strategies will give you that tool. Not only can you use it for the winter coming up, but for a wedding coming up, for a project, for a plan, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, on any level. For me, my background, it kind of started when I was 18 years old, and I had a mentor who taught me how to do mental training. He had some Tony Robbins tapes that he sent to me, and I listened to these tapes, and he really helped me with guided visualization. He was helping really high-level athletes like the Joe Mauer of Minnesota Twins, and then Matt Burke was the Minnesota Vikings center, and just basically elite athletes. And what separated people from the pack was their mental programs and what they did, not only with their nutrition, their flexibility, but their mindset. They did things on the field or in the game or in life that other people couldn't. And so I started to learn these techniques and strategies, and there was one day I was up at the gym that I was working at in Mendota Heights, and I was doing some stretching, really studying to be able to do the splits, because the more flexible you are, the more strength that you have with your body, and your body's allowed you to move. So I really started to do a lot of visualization, and I stumbled across something inside of my unconscious mind that completely changed my life, my outcome, and in any situation now, I have this openness and expansiveness, and it's kind of a master strategy that I would like to share with you. But before we do that, let's get into what beliefs are, because beliefs are really funny things when you think about it, because there's people out there who don't believe in things that they cannot see. Has anyone ever met somebody like, if I can't see it, I don't believe it? Well, it's kind of a funny thing itself, because how can you believe in something you can't see when you can't see your beliefs? Because beliefs themselves are invisible. They're not physical. Has anyone ever seen in the history of human existence seen a belief? Not with your physical eyes, but you can see it with your mind's eyes if you know what to look for. So beliefs are nothing more than, the definition of beliefs are ideas that we hold to be true inside of our heads or inside of our hearts. So I believe the world is flat. It's not really good or bad or right or wrong, it just is. But then, I got more information, now my beliefs changed. So beliefs can be really empowering, or they can be very limiting. They can be really light, where you can actually shake them up, reframe them, change them pretty quickly, or they can be more stubborn, more concrete. So depending on where the belief is, you can actually get to the root cause of the belief and actually upgrade it and change it. But for example, here's a really great example. There's people who believe or identify as poverty consciousness. What I'm saying about that is they're limiting their own limitations, their own self, and they're also limiting their abilities in life. So poverty consciousness, people that might identify with poverty consciousness might say things like, I can't afford that, or I can't do that. And if you really listen to their language, like for me, I'm a master of linguistics, so I study in psychology and language patterns, and every time I hear somebody say, I can't do that, it's hard for me even to say right now, because it cringes, it's not in alignment with my being. I can't do that, or I can't afford that. If you break it down, it's a statement, and it has a period at the end. And if you're really energetically, if you're intuitive, it actually puts a box around that person. I can't do this. Out of infinite possibilities, which is the universe and all possibilities in the whole entire life, I can't do that. Sure, that's one possibility, that's one position. But people who identify with wealth consciousness, they would never say things like, I can't afford that, or I can't do that. People who identify with wealth consciousness, they don't put periods at the end of it as a statement and a box around them. They have no box, they're free, and they put a question mark at the end. They don't say, I can't afford that. They say, how can I afford that? It's a huge difference. Or, I can't do that. How can I do this? One is, on one hand, it's closing a person down, it's pigeonholing or boxing them into only one choice, which is really no choice. It's just, it's a prison. And here, it opens up the mind. This is a closed mind, this is an open mind. This is a statement, this is a question mark. And the difference that separates them, the programs inside, is a belief or an experience. And so where do beliefs come from? Well, beliefs come from, first and foremost, your parents. We inherit not only our skin color, eye color, maybe different personality characteristics and traits, we also inherit beliefs and values and different core values and core beliefs that our parents give us. Also, we also, our environment that we're in, wherever we go to school, do we go to a Catholic school? Do we get homeschooled? Do we live in an inner city? Do we live in more of a upper middle class school, private school? Where is it that we're growing up? Who's in our environment? What are we watching? Are we watching violent shows at the age of 2, or are we watching Sesame Street? So all this information, all the environment, parents, religion, environment, none of it's good, bad, right, or wrong. It just is. It's all we get programmed. And some people don't like to hear that, oh, I don't like to hear programming. Because part of neurolinguistic programming is how the mind works, and the mind is a computer. Like it or not, the mind is a computer. But the computer is not meant to run you. You're meant to use your programs. Human beings are meant to be made use of their programs, and programs are great. I love my programs and being programmed, because none of them are limiting for me, because I've done this work and I learned these techniques and strategies. But there's people out there, and I used to be one of them, where they had programs where they'd automatically respond a certain way, and you react instead of actually taking action, and there's actually no freedom when you look at it. If I didn't have a program to walk, I would have to forget about it and remember it every time, or talk, or remember where my wallet is or my car is. So programs can be really good. They can be positive or negative. They can serve us or they can hurt us. But if we have a program that no longer works for us, we can actually break it down and actually dismantle it and put it back to where it's together. And I'm going to give you an example of what that's going to be like today. Other ways that people have a limiting or positive thing with beliefs is, if in finances we talked about, if one is, I can't afford this, and if you put a box, what are you going to give out energetically? What are you going to give out psychologically? What are you going to put into it? I've been studying wealth consciousness most of my life, and I've learned that people who don't have a lot of money have a negative belief and repel money. They might consciously say, at the conscious level, oh, I would love more money, but unconsciously, money is bad, money is rid of all evil. It's these deeper programs that were really programmed when they were little that repels money away from them, and rich people are bad and this and this. I'm making generalizations, but this is how I grew up. This is what I learned, that rich people were bad and they were greedy and all this stuff, and I grew up in more of a poverty consciousness place. Well, then I started to evolve, and I had a mentor who got introduced me to people that are multi-millionaires, hundreds of millions of dollars. They had a lot of companies. They're really successful people, and it did not match up. The experience I had did not match up the beliefs that were given, because these people were given way more than anyone I ever met, way more than these people that weren't giving and judging these people. And I found out how generous these people are, and it just reframed things for me. But what I found, the interesting and fascinating thing, is people who identify with more poverty consciousness or who don't have a lot of money, they think more about the money they don't have and the lack. They think of more poverty, or what's the word, a scarcity, like, oh, fear. There's a lot of fear surrounding it. Where people here on this side of the wealth consciousness, they don't ever think for 1 second how much money I don't have. It just makes no sense to them. It's, how can I create more? How can I make more connections? How can I give a better product? How can I serve more people? If you take that from a physical standpoint view, in your physical health, people who have more fat, and in 18 years of being a personal trainer and working with people with nutrition programs, people who have more fat or more laziness focus on fat way more than people who have more muscle and actually more active. These people don't focus on fat, they focus on muscle. Because when you focus on your fat, unconsciously you're going to get more fat. That's just how it works. There's no judgment. Just check it out. See if you have extra fat, see what you focus on, see what your patterns are. People that have more muscle, they focus on muscle, because if you focus on your muscle, you're going to push your muscle, you're going to challenge your muscle, move your muscles, and muscle is actually what burns fat. If you focus on fat, you actually will get more fat, because the unconscious mind and the universe both are in perfect alignment and harmony, where they do not consciously accept or understand or process the word not. So what I say, for whatever you do not think of what your favorite song was when you were in high school, or if you're married or have been married before, the first dance of your wedding, or what color is your underwear right now. Do not think about any of these things. So you can't not do that, because the mind has to Google search something. Whatever I say, you unconsciously consider, you Google search in your mind, and then you get the picture or the information. Okay, now don't do that. Well, that's how the mind works, and that's how the universe works. So it's very important to focus on what you want, not what you don't want, because you only get what you focus on in life. Your energy flows where your attention goes. That's the energy of the higher consciousness. That's the energy of what you're putting into it. So life isn't just about what physical actions you take. It's your actions, behaviors, it's the energy, your thoughts, your intention, your effort. All of these things go into it. So we talked about finances and how negative limiting belief could limit you and box you and actually repel wealth from coming to you, and what a positive thing could do, it could attract it. Same thing from the health standpoint. You could actually you can attract fat by focusing on it, and you can actually repel fat by focusing on muscle, which is kind of the opposite of fat. There's also for spirituality. A lot of people in spirituality, or people that want to grow spiritually, fundamentally at the core of every human being, unless you've gone to this level within inside of you, deep inside of you, and you've seen it and you connected and you accepted it, is that fundamentally at the core of every human being, there's a sense of separateness, loneliness, and disconnect. And people try to change that through, and I'm making up a random things, could be sex, could be too much working out, could be drugs, it could be intellect, it could be talking so much, it could be doing, I gotta do something. There's literally infinite ways to escape from that existential suffering, or that core, at the very fundamental, I feel lonely and accepted, basically left out. That belief system could cause you a lot of suffering, because how the mind works, this is the mind 101, the mind is built and designed, it's a supercomputer built within you, meant to serve you, meant to be used. You're not supposed to have the mind use you, you're supposed to use the mind. And the mind is programmed and built, don't try to change it, this is how it is to move away from pain towards pleasure. So I'm gonna move away from pain and towards pleasure, but if you have a belief that money is pain, it's gonna move away from that because of the beliefs that we have. Or love is pain, it's gonna move away from that. You can also reframe it that poverty is pain, or disconnection is pain, so I'm gonna have connection, I'm gonna move towards that, which is actually a really good thing that serves you. If in spirituality, you could have a limiting belief that even though you consciously want it, because the conscious mind is only a small fraction of the mind, that's what you're immediately focusing on right now, but the unconscious programs, all of the memories, all the beliefs, all the decisions, all of the information that you have is stored at the unconscious level. And I'm going to show you how to be able to change that, to be able to access that through language, and to actually Google search your mind, go into the mind today. I'm going to show a really cool demonstration and show you some magic if you're open for that, and show you how quickly and how efficiently you can change your mind if you want to. So I'm going to show you this. It's my favorite color, I think, so far today. I maybe get a new color every day. Maybe a purple will be a little bit later, but today it's gonna be blue. And the magic is this. I'm gonna draw 4 boxes. Here's one. And these are magic boxes. How do I know they're magic? Because I can tell, can you not see it? There's magic inside of these boxes. Is it because it's a magic pen? Maybe. And this is magic paper? I don't know. Or is it a magician using them? We'll find out. But I'm going to take information, I'm going to put information outside of a person's mind into this box. And then I'm going to get some information about this. I'm going to write some notes about it. Maybe I'm going to switch to a different color. Maybe I'm going to switch to red. And I'm going to take information of what I want to see and I'm going to put it into this box, which is going to make a shift in that person. It's really actually kind of cool and magical. Then I'm going to use these boxes and I'm going to take something totally awesome, totally sweet, out of infinite possibility, put that in there that the person wants instead of this negative thing over here. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it into this total awesome certainty and really instill it inside of a person. So this is actually magic. It looks really simple, which it is, but it's not always easy unless you know what you're doing. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do something that's called a belief change. A belief change is kind of like if you have a virus in your computer and you bring it to the Apple store, Apple Genius, or you bring it to wherever else you bring it to, if you don't have an Apple products, you bring it somewhere else. And they open up your computer and they say, let's take a look at it. And they do some back-end coding, sweet stuff, and type in some awesome letters and words. And they're trying to find what's going on, maybe run a diagnostics. Well, unlike a computer, you can actually talk to a human being and you can actually find out pretty quickly what's happening. So this can happen faster than computers can happen. But if there's a virus in the computer, you can run a program and find out what that is and you can actually take it, delete it, or whatever. I'm just paraphrasing here because computers aren't my specialty. Human beings are, and the human mind, the most advanced computer of all time, is. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna Google search and get information. I'm gonna move one thing from here and you're gonna see this person, which we have a demo subject coming up in just a few minutes here, gonna be able to make movements inside her head, and you're gonna see the changes happen in her face, in her body language, in her breathing if you're paying attention. And she'll tell you maybe the emotions beforehand and how long she's had this problem. And you're gonna see of how quickly, it doesn't matter with this kind of psychology, with this kind of training, how long you've had a problem for. You could have any problem for 20 years. If you're really open spiritually, 20 lifetimes, it doesn't really matter, because the amount of time you have a problem does not dictate and in no way relation to the amount of time it takes to get rid of it. Because there was a time where you did not have the problem and something happened where, boom, you made a decision. And all of a sudden, this program is running and you have a problem now. It's not in alignment with your core self. But you can go back and you can undecide it in a split second to actually free yourself. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And right before I do that, I wanna share that there are these things inside of your brain or inside of your mind called internal representations, or internal pictures, how your mind codes information, or how another way to say it is how your mind puts meaning to everything that you see or experience. You can call a memory one of these things, because if you can think about a memory, let's think about the last meal you ate. That should be a pretty easy one. So whatever, depending on what time of day it is for you, what was the last meal you ate? And just think about it and get that picture in your mind. And I want you to answer these few questions. I'll ask it and it will automatically give the answer as I'm asking and as you're considering it now. Is that picture in your mind of the food, number one, is it the real food? Yes or no? No, of course not. Because the real food's not here. It's probably in your belly or somewhere else, or metabolized or used up. But any picture that we have in our mind of any memory is not the real event or the real thing. So on one way to look at it, all memories are synthetic, they're made up, they're recreated, and they're not real. I'm not saying what happened in the past didn't happen for you. I'm saying that think about your best friend or your children or your loved ones or your favorite thing, and if that thing is not in the room and you're actually not touching it or it's there, it's not the real thing. In psychological terms, it's called the map is not the territory. Go to a waterfall in Hawaii and get a sweet map and look at the map and then put it down and look at the waterfall, look at the map, look at the waterfall, and the map is not the waterfall. That makes sense. Go to a Mexican restaurant, you can see a lot of pictures on there. The chalupa is not the actual thing, or the chimichanga, or I don't know if I'm saying Taco Bell things or if that's everywhere else, but I'll say real authentic. Tostadas or the tamales or the enchiladas. If you look at the picture and the actual real food, it's not the same thing. It's a representation, and our mind has internal representations. So internal representations are amazing for us if they serve us. If you can think about a time when you were completely and totally confident and you felt totally connected as a human being. So go ahead and think about a time in your life when you were totally felt confident and fully connected as a human being, and just go there now. And you'll see something or feel something or hear something inside. You'll see yourself doing something, feeling something. Maybe it was at a specific awards you won, or at a time when you just went outside in nature and took a deep breath, but there was a time that you had. And if that really serves you, you can bring that, wrap it all around you, that internal representation or picture, that memory, and you can blow it up and you can jump into it and it can feel great. That is true for outcomes that you want, or really great things, but it's also true about problems. If you think about something that's maybe nagging you or slightly bothering you right now, there's going to be a picture that you have inside, and the picture might be close to you, it might be big, and if it's close and big, I'm not saying you can see it with your physical eyes because they're not real in the physical world. But trust me, they are absolutely real 100% in the psychological world, which is invisible to the human eye. See, the majority of a human being is actually invisible. And when the first time people hear me say that, they're like, what does that mean, the majority of a human being is invisible? And then I explain myself, and then it makes 100% sense. 25% of you is a physical body. You're in your Earth suit. While you're on Earth, you live in one of these things as your vehicle to move around on the planet, and it's to experience life. That's only 25% of you. Another 25% of you is also a supercomputer, which it's called your mind. And it's built within you. It's actually built in with every cell of the body. But the center of, just like your body has a center, in the center of your body is the belly button. That's the balance point, that's the center point. Any physical movements, this is the center point. If you're doing martial arts, if you're doing balance beams, this is the center point of your body. This is the center of the human body. The center of the mind is the head. Even though it's stored in the whole body, the thoughts come through the head. So that's actually the center of the mind. The center of your heart for spirituality and consciousness is your heart center, not your physical heart. It's not an organ. You can't open up your body and actually see your heart center. You can't open up your head and see the mind, because the mind is not physical. The mind is not the brain. They're not the same thing. Just like you can't open yourself up. There's people that might not believe in emotions, because if you open yourself up, you can't see them, except we feel them all the time. So emotions aren't physical. Either are your thoughts. Either are a lot of the things that come through. But you can see them with your mind's eye. You have a mind's eye, which is that memory. If you think about back just a few minutes ago, and I asked you to think about what you ate for breakfast or lunch or snack, the last meal you ate last night, whenever it was, that isn't physical. You don't see that with your physical eyes, do you? You don't see it out physically in front of you, but yet you can still see it. You can see what color your underwear are, even though, because you have that picture in your mind of whatever that is. Kind of a funny thing to say, but that picture in your mind of whatever underwear you are having or not wearing or whatever it is, you still have a picture of what that is. But you can't see it with your physical eyes, but you can see it with your mind's eye. So just to point those out together side by side, your physical eyes and you have your mind's eye. So 25% of you is your earth suit, 25% is your supercomputer, and another 25% is your higher consciousness, which this is the portal to higher consciousness. Good luck trying to connect with God, your higher self, whatever you call the infinite intelligence, without focusing here. Good luck. I've never met a human being to do it. I've been studying and training this for my whole life, and then 10 years going to India, learned super advanced spiritual technology at the world's first and only open esoteric school. And I've never met anybody that can connect to their higher consciousness without focusing here. It's not possible. It's how we're built. Try it. I'd like to meet somebody that can do that. I just haven't yet. Even when someone's going to nature, I'm experiencing everything, but they're focusing here. Their awareness is here. And then the other part is the universe itself. So we cannot do anything independent of anything of our parents, because you wouldn't be here without your parents, you wouldn't be here without the sun, wouldn't be here without bees, wouldn't be here without so many things. So we're not independent. So the majority of us is actually non-physical, or energy or emotions, feelings, all that stuff. So I'm gonna welcome Leah up here if you'd like to come up. So Leah, tell me, what is this, if you were to scan your life and ask your unconscious mind, what is this limiting or negative belief that you would like to terminate, get rid of, completely not have as an issue in your life at all right now?
So something that keeps coming up for me is this feeling of nothing being good enough, including me. Like, so no matter how much I do or work or grow, it's still not enough, but not in that sense that it motivates me, in that sense that then there's an internal dialogue about like, oh, well, it's not good enough because this and this and this and this. And so it's like I pick it all apart and like convince myself that it isn't as magical as it was or as good as it was. So.
Okay, so it's not good enough, that's the internal dialogue?
Yeah.
All right.
And it kind of went back and forth because I was like, well, I feel like I'm included in that, but it is like everything is included in that.
I'm not good enough. It's not good enough.
Yeah.
Not good enough. So let me ask you this, Leah. What is the first thing in your mind's eye, inside, in your ask your unconscious mind, what is the first thing that comes up when I ask you, what's the first image that you see of that belief? When I ask you that belief, what does that look like?
I see.
Is there a picture or is there a movie?
There's movement.
Okay.
It's a much younger version of myself.
How old? At what age?
6.
6 years old, you. All right.
And I'm really angry.
So you're angry. So it's a movie, and the content, the main thing in there is you being angry. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's me angry. That's the main content. Cool. So I'm going to circle that, but I'm going to ask for more information because it's fun to do that. As you're looking at that picture or that movie, it's seeing you angry. Is it in color or in black and white in your mind's eye? First thing.
Color.
So in color. And we already said it's moving. Is it 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional?
2-dimensional.
Okay. 2D. Is it in focus or out of focus?
It's out of focus. It's like
out of focus.
The movement that's happening is really shaky.
Out of focus, shaky. What are the emotions or feelings surrounding that limiting belief or that anger you?
Anger, anger and frustration and sadness.
Okay, I'm writing really quick. Okay.
And loneliness.
And loneliness. A lot of things associated to that. So this could be, or is it, a limitation to you spiritually, financially, in your relationships, and in what other aspects of life?
I feel like it's tied into everything for me.
Okay.
Because I've been seeing it come up in different situations in all those categories.
Very good. And when I say very good, I get excited because I know what's going to happen next. So I'm excited that it's coming up to your conscious awareness, not very good. Thank you for telling me things that are bothering you. Okay, now go ahead and sit down and good luck with that. Not that at all. It's quite the opposite. So I'm excited about it because I know what's going to happen next. Last, probably the most important question is, where is that picture? Because we know unconsciously, and if you ask the right person, if you have the right person, the right coach to knows this information, he can actually check it for you to find out where it is. You have access to if it's color or black and white, if it's moving or still, 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, all these things. Probably the most important thing is, where is the location? Is it inside or outside of you right now? In front or behind, left or right, up or down?
It's like right here.
So it's like
So
right
it's
here.
outside, but it's like
Inches.
in my face. Yeah.
Outside in your face. How big is it compared to, I don't know.
Yeah. It's like everything.
Bigger than you?
Yeah, it's bigger than me. It doesn't extend out like forever, but
5
it's
feet?
definitely at least my arms reach
Okay.
up and around.
And then how far down and how far up?
It's almost like a pathway out and down. Up, I don't really feel it so much up.
Okay.
But it's like there's almost like this road or path that goes down, and I can't see the end of that.
Got it. All right. So I would say about inches in front of the face. Okay. All right. So what I want to do right now, just temporarily, let's take that internal representation, let's maybe just shrink it down a little bit, and let's maybe put it over to your left. Can you do that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So as we do that, I noticed, I don't know if you picked up on it, but you kind of took a deep breath. It seems like you can breathe easier when you do that. And all I'm just saying is words, and it sounds like it's goofy or silly stuff unless you really know what it is and have that experience where you shrink it down and move it over there. And actually, what is that? It's not permanent or completely gone yet. However, what changed?
It felt less, it doesn't feel as aggressive now. Where it's not, it felt before like someone was in my face screaming at me, and now it's like, oh, okay, they're over there, so they're at least not like making me want to.
So you have space.
Yeah.
And if you have space, how does that change your spiritual outlook, your financial, your relationships, just by having a space from that internal representation?
It softens everything.
Okay. Feels better. That's forward movement. Okay, excellent. So what I'm going to do is this, I got the information of, this is basically a picture or a video of what's going on inside of Leah's mind that's causing her pain, sadness, loneliness. It's negative or less than positive. It's moving her backwards or stopping her from moving forward. So is it a problem for you? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this and we're going to break it up on here. We're going to do some magic here and outside. So before we do that is, what I want you to do is ask your unconscious mind or Google your whole life, and I want you to pick a different belief that, maybe like a belief that was something that used to be true for you when you were a different age or when you were younger or older than 6, could be younger or older, but is no longer true for you. Then it could be something as like, I was 2 feet tall, or Cheerios is my favorite breakfast, or I love cotton candy. Maybe you don't love cotton candy anymore, maybe you still do, I don't know. It could be something as ridiculous, or I'm outside right now. It could be anything, but go ahead and have your unconscious mind pick the very best one. A belief that was true but no longer true anymore.
I used to love circus peanuts.
I used to love circus peanuts. Excellent. Very good. So what do you see?
I can't eat them anymore.
And you cannot eat them anymore. How come?
I got really sick on them once.
Yeah, perfect.
And stopped, but I used to love them.
All right. So what do you see in that picture? So, do you see the picture of, because it's not her getting sick because it's before that point.
Yeah, no, it was totally before that.
So how old were you in that picture?
5.
5. So this happens to be younger, which is fine. So you got 5. And then what do you see? Is it a picture or is it a movie?
It's more just a still, picture, like a still shot of myself. Actually, I'm not. I'm looking through my own eyes.
Looking through your own eyes. This one, you can see yourself in there, so you're dissociated.
Yeah,
This one, you're
this time I'm
associated.
really just like seeing the peanut, like the circus peanuts in my hand, in my right hand.
In my right hand. All right, excellent. So it's a picture, you can see through your eyes. Is it color, black and white?
Black and white.
Okay. Is it two-dimensional, three-dimensional?
Two-dimensional.
Two-dimensional. All right, in focus, out of focus?
In focus.
All right. Emotions?
Emptiness is the first thing that comes up.
Cool. Any other pertinent information before we make that change?
I'm not seeing or feeling anything else there.
Last question is the location. Is it inside or outside of you, near or far? Inches, feet, miles, centimeters?
It's inside.
Inside.
Yeah. Like inside in this area.
Okay. How big?
It's little.
Little.
Yeah.
Okay. For the time being, could we move that maybe just off to the right? It doesn't matter if you want to make it bigger or smaller, same size, but let's just ask your unconscious mind to move it to the right. So over to the left, we have that old picture that's about to transform and change, and then we have that little one over there.
Yes.
Sound good?
Yeah. It's a little bigger.
It's bigger because it's outside, so you can see it more. Okay. So the magic's going to happen is we're going to take the content of this picture. I just wanted to get this just for information. I'm not really so concerned about the color, this or that right away, but I want to take this angry you, this little 6-year-old, and I want to move it into here, connecting her with all of these things. I don't know if it already happened yet, but let's just see. So what I want you to do is I want you to see that picture on the left as it's happening, or already did happen, and then that picture on the right, I want you to reach into your unconscious mind, pluck the little 6-year-old that's so angry, so, bossy, whatever, but leave all the other stuff, the color, the moving, the two-dimensional, out of focus, shaky, and I want you to plop her and put her right into the circuit's peanuts.
Yeah.
That is a picture. Instead of moving, you're seeing through your eyes. It's black and white now.
Yeah.
Cool?
Yeah.
Happened pretty quick.
Well, she was excited because she came over here and there were circus peanuts waiting for her. She was like, woo! I want these peanuts.
Yeah. Can she be angry if she has circus peanuts?
No, totally, like, as soon as she thought about that, it was just like, what? There's a treat for me over there.
Jump.
I want to be there.
Awesome. Magic happened here and out there and in there. So it's 3 times the magic for the price of 1. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, reviewing what happened, is this old internal representation, is there anything left, any remnants, anything good from her that we need to move over? Is that complete?
It's complete.
Now what does that look like over there? Because a shift happened, so that can't be the same.
There's nothing there.
Nothing.
Actually.
Completely gone.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's weird. But cool.
Yeah.
Been
So
quick.
I didn't consciously do that.
What's that?
I didn't consciously do
No,
that. I just
unconsciously.
Yeah, it was like she went over there and it was like it just left.
So how do you feel? So we can just test it here, but because I'm such a nice guy, I'm gonna go actually a lot of steps further. Let's try to access this. It's not good enough. These are the exact words that you use. It's not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm saying those words. And this is what I don't normally do, but I'm just saying it just to test, just to see, because I already know what's gonna happen. But Leah, you're not good enough. Your shirt's not good enough, blah, 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 blah. What happens?
I just kind of want to laugh at you saying that.
Yeah. Maybe even unconsciously, there might be that little 6-year-old throwing peanuts out. Okay, here, have some peanuts. You're not good enough. Maybe you need some peanuts, So maybe you might even start seeing that if a situation happens,
Right,
or if somebody else coming to you like, Leah, I just don't feel good enough, and maybe unconsciously, oh, I know what to do. That little 6-year-old inside, 5 and 6-year-old, or both, can be like, here, have some peanuts. Just like shower and sprinkle, like almost like a wedding, and they throw rice, like, here's peanuts, because make you happier. How's that feel?
That's awesome.
So try to get that old problem back. Think about a time in the past when you didn't feel good enough and try to, because if I would have done this before, I didn't want to because I'm not a jerk and I'm not a nice guy. If you talk about something that a person has a problem with and they has a negative internal representations, and I could have done the same thing, like think about that picture now, go inside and feel it, bathe in it. She'd probably cry or punch me or do something, I don't know, it wouldn't feel good. So I'm testing it now, and that's what the cool thing about NLP or neurolinguistic psychology is that you can test to see if it worked instantaneously. You can see when it actually worked, but then test it. So try to get that old problem back if you can, and try to think about a time in the past or in the future that you would have felt not good enough, but how would you feel differently now?
I don't feel like I can even access it as something tangible anymore. Like I can see a particular instance in which I felt that way.
In the past?
In the past.
And how would you feel about it now, thinking about it now?
It's like whatever. It doesn't even matter.
Okay. Doesn't even matter. What would happen if you sprinkled peanuts in that internal representation over there? Would that make you?
Past.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Makes you feel a little bit better?
Yeah. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's meeting the need of whatever was missing in that place.
And ask your unconscious mind, what does peanuts represent?
Love.
Love. And ask your unconscious mind, the adult of you, does the adult you now need to eat peanuts to feel that love, or can you just have that love?
I can just have that love.
And the peanuts inside is, circus peanuts is just an internal representation. You don't actually need to go to a circus to eat it. You can just feel that inside now.
No. I mean, I could, but I don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's the first magic trick, and we can stop there if you like to feel complete. Or the second thing is, this is why I want to double. I want to boost it up. So what I want to do is I want to put a new belief in here out of infinite possibility in the whole entire universe. So limitless potential, even impossibility, is still just one possibility out of infinite possibilities. So that's a possibility. But out of infinite possibilities, how would you ultimately like to be choosing to decide to be believing about yourself now? Instead of these old ways of, which is, you can't even access it, anger, frustration, sadness, loneliness, about it's not good enough or I'm not good enough. What new belief that's fully positive, fully charged up, fully energized, fully in alignment with the universe, your higher self, your core, everything?
That I am always enough. That's the first thing that comes up.
How powerful is that for you?
I feel like there could be something more powerful.
And if you knew what that was, what would that be? What would you feel like that would be now?
That no matter what challenge is presented to me, that I will be enough, that there will be enough, and that includes me. So it I guess needs to be more situated with the challenges.
How would you say that?
When faced with a challenge, I will always have everything I need.
Is that it?
Yes.
With a challenge or challenges?
Challenges.
Okay, I just want to make sure we use words. When faced with challenges, I will always have enough, or I will have everything I need. How do you say that one more time?
When faced with challenges, I will always have everything I need.
Very good.
And that will be enough. Because that just needs to be in there too.
Excellent. I'm writing really quick, so forgive myself. All right, excellent. All right, that's it. That's a new belief that you would like to install instead of that old place. Now, ask your unconscious mind out of an infinite possibility and to completely and totally open your mind. So your mind's completely open, which is the most connected mind, which is how the mind is meant to be and how it's meant to be used, which is open. What is something that you know and you believe to be true to the core of your being with absolute total certainty?
That I'm here to help people.
All right, excellent. So what does that look like or feel like? I want you to describe that to me. Is that color or black and white?
Color.
Moving or still?
Moving.
Color. Moving. Two-dimensional, three-dimensional?
Three-dimensional.
In focus, out of focus?
In focus.
Motions associated to that? I'm here to help people.
Like tenderness and love and acceptance and compassion.
Where is that located? I'm here to help people, inside or outside of you?
Inside.
Inside, your heart center. How big is it?
It fills up my whole chest.
Okay, fills up your whole chest, goes around, inside and outside? Or just inside?
It is kind of, it's permeating.
Got it.
Yeah, it does permeate outward, but not in a very clearly defined, there's not like a cut and dry, it just like, it could go bigger or it could come in a little more.
But it's sourced there.
But it's sourced there.
Excellent. So now we're going to do the magic. But before we do that, we are going to move this belief into here, connecting to all of these things. But before we do that, we got to find the location of this. Where is this located, this belief? Inside or outside? Where in the room, where in the space, where in the universe?
That's inside too.
Where?
It's also in my chest.
Are they in the same place? Did you already do the shift before?
I didn't intentionally.
But it unconsciously did, because you're really good at this. But let's just say it anyway, just to say it out loud. Go ahead and have your unconscious mind move this belief that when faced with any challenges of any kind at any level, I will always have everything I need, and I will always be enough, and that will be enough. Move that into the space inside. That's right, very good. Make sure it's in color, it's moving, it's in 3-dimensional. Very good. You have that, it's in focus. You get that tenderness, love, and acceptance, compassion, and making it big and colorful as it needs to be now. Make sure you anchor that and you store that into your central intelligence, your central core, your heart center, where you store things and you know and you believe to be 100% totally true.
Yeah. It's in there, and I actually felt it once I consciously did that it just like rippled out, like way bigger than the initial permeation of the second one.
So how are you?
It's kind of cool.
Very good. That is actually really cool. How are you feeling, or what are you feeling inside right now? Can you describe it to us?
I'm feeling very happy and kind of like I can't stop smiling, and feeling a lot of joy at realizing that's there.
So is there anyone or anything in the world right now that could stop you from smiling?
It feels funny because it's like that. Oh, someone's doing this and pulling my face to make me smile.
I wonder how old that part is that's doing that. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Maybe 5 or 6.
Maybe.
Little girl inside. Who knows? Throwing peanuts inside and outside.
That's awesome.
So now, and I know we already did this once, but try to access that even more now. Now that the furniture moved around, magic happened here, here, and in here.
Yeah, it just seems like a completely ridiculous notion. Yeah.
So once
I
can't even access it, can't even see any pictures, can't even connect to the feelings if you wanted to. Someone's going to pay you $1 billion, couldn't do it.
No. It's just not even, I don't know, it almost feels like the initial image that was coming up from the instance I was using that in is just like blurred out altogether.
And that's interesting how your unconscious mind can do that automatically because it's no longer serving and it came up to your awareness.
Yeah.
So last part is, Leah, I want you to think about a time off in the future that, how does this change your finances, your health, your relationships now?
There's like no barriers, because I know I will have everything that I need, and I know that will be enough to do anything, which includes all of that. So completely free-flowing pathway, which is awesome.
And how do you know that's true? How can you tell? How can you see?
I see it metaphorically as river, and I guess right now I'm seeing it as like rivers going to each of those things. So there's 4 separate rivers.
From
here, and there are no like rocks or sticks or stones or anything. I'm like just laying on my back and literally just moving down.
You're just flowing down the rivers towards.
Just like, yep, it's cool. There's resources there along the side, so they're cool. If I need to grab them, I can, and just like and keep going.
Infinite resources, open possibilities, completely connected.
Yeah.
And why is that important to you?
Because I know that I'm here to help people and to do a lot of other things. And if I have blocks in the way, it makes it harder for me to do the work that I need to do and to be there for people the way that I really want to be there.
Awesome.
So,
Well, great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Give her a hand. Thank you. All right. So magic just happened on this paper, in real life, and inside a human being, and potentially inside of your heads, because when I do these techniques, or when people do these techniques, people watching, something happens inside of them too, because healing is a group sport. So that is just one little thing, how a belief can change somebody's life, having a problem since 5 or 6 years old, majority of your life, and in 10 minutes, 5 minutes, a little bit of short period of time to actually go to find out how the problem got created in the first place, because essentially on a bigger picture, there are no problems in the universe. The only problems are the ones that we put to it. Oh, it's going to be, winter's coming, it's going to be cold. You know, I can't do that, or, you know, I don't know how to do this. So what I'm trying to share was the first and foremost thing is to change your mind, change your beliefs. And I'm going to show you 5 different ways, whether it's in the winter, your physical body, your wedding coming up, a plan that you have. It's just 5 really different things. So the first thing is, even if, but this actually happens as the belief change happens, but as this tectonics plate shifts in your mind, life opens up. And it's just things come to you. But the first thing you're going to need is a defined, clear outcome. Where are you headed? What do you want? Winter's coming. Wedding's coming. Blank is coming. What do you want? An outcome is different than a goal. Goal might be, I want to lose 20 pounds. Or here's a really terrible goal, and I'm not making a judgment, I'm making an assessment, and I'll qualify why I say it's terrible. A terrible goal is, I don't want to gain any weight over the winter. It's a terrible goal because it's a negative goal. Negative doesn't equal bad, and positive doesn't equal good for me in my world. Positive means forward, and negative means backwards. So if someone says, I don't want to gain any weight over the winter, you're focusing on not gaining weight, which is focusing on gaining weight unconsciously and in the universe. So you probably will gain some weight with that strategy, and I would probably say 98% of the people that I know that say that do. So your outcome is different than a goal. An outcome is, first, you know, maybe you have your goal. Your goal is to, like, I want to work out 5 times a week, and I want to have this amount of body fat, and I want to just feel great. I want to have the emotions. That's the outcome behind it, is once I've achieved my goals, how will I be? How will I feel? How will life be different? So it's kind of going all the way to the end, and then you go backwards. So without doing that, this is the best way. People pay me a lot of money to help them with their companies, to help them with their lives, with their families, with their relationships, to get these 5 strategies that are so, so important. If you don't know where you're going when you get home, if you're driving, good luck getting there. And that's the physical world. Remember, we talked about most people are too dominant in the physical world. I can't see it, you know, physically, so it doesn't exist. Well, then your beliefs don't exist. Then don't believe those things. Don't even believe that you don't believe things, because they don't exist. So that just makes sense. But you have to have an outcome. You have to know where you're headed. Otherwise, how are you going to get there? So you need that clarity, that's conscious awareness, that's properly using your mind. The second thing is you need to have a definite plan. It's not enough to just know your outcome. And these are, might say, like, simple things, but again, if I was going to talk to the President of the United States, if I was going to talk to the highest leader in any aspect of life, I would still run them through this series and structure in a very personalized, customized way. But, like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? When people who come to me and they're having a really big problem in life, if Leah was coming to me and she was feeling that loneliness and that fear and that emptiness, all those things, I would say to her, I would look at her in the eye and I would say, what do you need? Without saying anything, without judging, not what can I do for you, because that might get me punched, or it might be really insensitive because it's not about me. It's what do you need? So that is, if somebody's in need or something's really happening, that it's kind of an emergency situation. Well, the same is true of, like, what do you want? Like, what's your outcome? What's your end goal? It's not like what your goal is, but what will you be like? What will life be like? What will you feel once you get there? But then the second part is, how are you going to get there? I want $1 million in 2017. Awesome. Great. Nice idea. How are you going to get there? I don't know. Good luck with that happening. And it's not a judgment. It's just not saying it's not possible. Even you can focus on it in the power of the vibration. And if you listen to Esther Hicks and Abraham Hicks, that is possible. I'm not trying to get it down, but you still have to show up in life and you have to do something in the physical world, you have to respect it. So what is your plan of how to get there? You want $1 million, how do you want to get that? Do you want to open up a McDonald's franchise and do that? Because that's a possibility. Who is going to pay you? Is it going to be the trees are going to pay you? Is it going to be the animals or the human beings? Oh, human beings, okay, great, because they're the ones that deal with that currency. What are you going to do for them to get there? I want to work out, I want to be really fit, I want to do it 5 times a week. How are you going to get there? So the number 3 is going to help you with a little more clarity too. So it's the accountability. You need accountability. Everybody needs that. If you don't have accountability, how are you going to be consistent? How are you going to get structure? My recommendation is, really the 4th one, is to get a coach or to get somebody who can help you be accountable that is better than you. If you want to get better at something, go around somebody who's better at you than that. Don't go around somebody that's kind of equal or worse unless you're doing it together. But somebody that can be accountable, that can give you that structure of, I'm going to be here, I'm going to show up, and every time you come here, I'm going to help coach you, I'm going to help train you, I'm going to help mentor and guide you to get to your outcomes because I'm invested. You want somebody to align with that measures their success by your results. When you achieve that outcome, then they succeed. That's who somebody you want to partner with. But you have to have that accountability. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you know everything. I don't care if you were the master in your 20s. Well, how are you going to do it in your 30s? How are you going to do it in your 40s? How are you going to do it today? How are you going to do it this year? You need to reinvent yourself and go back to the drawing boards and restructuring outcomes. But the 4th one is coaching. If you had coaching, the right coach, it could help you with all 5 of these actually. But if you had the right coach, that could be a personal trainer. That could be a group fitness instructor. That could be a life coach. That could be a business coach. That could be a spiritual coach. If you had a right coach, it would help you get your outcomes, a lot of clarity, and actually help you with the plan, and actually help you be there, walk the journey with you. Coaching is so valuable. Mentoring, training, it's really important. Try not to do it by yourself, because it's just not fully using all your resources. Even if not by yourself is going out and reading a book or getting equipment somewhere that equipment company has, but you didn't make the equipment yourself, you didn't cut down the tree and do all the wood and all that stuff. And the 5th one, as most important, is getting your head right, getting your mind right, getting aligned. Your beliefs. Getting the right beliefs to align with your outcomes. Clarity is so important. What are the directions you want to head in? How are you going to get there? Be absolute. If you go deep enough within yourself, no matter where you're headed in life, if it's deep enough within yourself, it's going to be absolute. So this is what I want to do. This is my life's purpose. I was born for Leah. I'm here to help people. That's great. That's awesome. How are you going to do that? I don't know. I don't know she does, and she's working towards it, but I'm just saying, I'm here to help people. This is absolute. This needs to be flexible. Try something to get to where you want to. If it doesn't work, calibrate, learn from it. If it doesn't work, the strategy you're trying to do doesn't work. It's not you. You're not a failure. Failure is poverty consciousness being identified. I'm a failure. Really? I've never met anybody that's actually a failure. Even failures that identify with failures can't fail all the time. And they didn't fail. Can you fail when you're a baby? Were you a failure when you were 2? Yeah, how specifically? I don't know. Oh, so it's just a belief. It's not actually measured. It's just something that's ridiculous in your head. So we can change that if it's not working for you. But people that identify with I'm a failure, really, all the time? Has there ever been a time that you weren't a failure? Or what about the time right before you were being a failure? How about that? So you can actually break that up, which is really cool with language. But have that outcome, be flexible with your plan. If you try something like Thomas Edison, he had over 10,000, I think it might have been close to 11,000 tries. I'm going to create this incandescent light bulb. I'm going to try this way. And he documented it. That way didn't work. Awesome. I'm never going to try this way again, and I'm going to try something different. I'm one step closer. And he kept doing that until he figured it out, and look what's happening in the world now. So be flexible with your plan. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't throw your outcome out. Keep your outcome absolute, but be flexible on your plan. And accountability. you have to measure what's the time frame you have. You have a plan, but what a time frame do you have? If you're going to work out by yourself, it might be better to find a place that's in alignment with your core self, your core values, that can help you push past those mental barriers and mental blocks. And just anytime with group coaching, it mathematically, energetically amplifies it. So it's really fun to do things together, to have that structure. If you get the right coach that knows how to change your beliefs, that can help you get clarity with the outcome, help you get a plan, and give you that accountability, you could do all these different steps, or you can really go to this. This is my recommendation. Find the right coach. We offer coaching to help people with change your beliefs. We actually offer programs to certify and actually teach people how to go do the technique that I did. Whether you're a psychologist, you're a therapist, a nurse, CEO, mother, an athlete, in any aspect of life that you would like to get better, that you want to get better finances, better body, not just now, but for the rest of your life. Because you're a human being, which is an ing, which means moving. You're not a human being. It's not past tense. If you're physical and you're listening to this and you're here, it's a human being, so you need coaching. I don't hear a lot of people, I've been coached by that. So you're done learning, you're done growing. Continue coaching, even if it's from multiple coaches or a different coach. Get a coach to get you to where you want to be the fastest way. These are the 5 different strategies for the winter to get through that, for a wedding, for business, for life. This strategy, this structure works for anything, but this can be a fundamental thing that can open up the whole thing or close the whole thing. The good news is you can go to a coach and you can find somebody who can help you to do that. So what I shared with you earlier was when I was 18 years old and I was digging around in my brain when I started to learn all these things and going into my mind, and I found out that there was a limiting belief that I had about myself that grew up from my parents. But the crazy thing is I found it wasn't my belief. It was my family's belief that was given to me generationally. So what I did was this belief changed before I actually learned it, and I upgraded my internal image of myself to this super strong, powerful, the colors, it was moving. It was almost like a Superman picture where it was like up in the air and just like gleaming, but the colors were blue, white, and gold. And I saw myself completely healed, completely healthy, completely limitless. And I checked in with that and I connected with that, brought it inside. And that energy not only helped me with my workouts, but I mapped it over into my spiritual world, into my financial world, into all my relationships. So I have this stream of consciousness, connection, and flow so that no matter what happens in any situation in life, there's going to be a solution for it. Even if fear comes up, oh, it's just fear. It's just my nervous system experiencing it. I'm going to relax into it and still move forward. Not even fear is good enough reason for me to get results in life, or it should be for you, or not knowing how. If you don't know how to do something and you live in 2016, if you don't know the 2 most valuable resources on the internet, which you do, if you don't use those, it just makes no sense. Google and YouTube. Google and YouTube are the 2 most valuable resources with most of the information out there. So I don't know how. Do you know how to use Google? Do you know how to use your thumbs? Do you know how to use your smartphone, tablet, iPad, anything like that? Of course you do. So you can Google anything that you want and learn about it. But what I did is I found that master coach and master training, and I put it in anywhere aspects of my life. So if you want more information or if you want coaching, it's out there for you. You can learn this for yourself. You can just receive it to release any negative program in any aspect of life. And have that structure, strategy, outcome, planning, coaching, and change your beliefs will give you the outcomes that you want and deserve. Thank you very much.